Oh, that's a lot better, isn't it? Goal of the season already in the bag, and if Laurent Tolaj can head a ball, that would have been 3 points in the bag. We've got Ethan, Liam, and Delboy fresh back from the holidays and fresh back from St Andrews to give their view on the 2-2 draw against Birmingham. Should have been 3 points. What a great performance it was. And what are we thinking about this new style of play? Lots to get our teeth into. Plus, we're looking at the kits as well. And with 1 week and a bit of the transfer window to go, what else needs to happen to make sure that this is going to be a great season for Bristol City? Great to have your company. As always, last week was a little bit down and depressing, Liam, wasn't it? So hopefully we can flip that on its head this week and start talking about the good times. Hope you're doing well. Drop us a sub if you haven't yet already done so. Ethan, we'll start with this fellow, if that's okay with you. Great to see you again. If you don't follow Ethan on TikTok, then please do. He's the only and the most comprehensive Bristol City content creator on TikTok that you need to follow. Lewis says, just stop Ballard, please. He's absolutely unreal. Yeah. From what you've seen so far, Ethan, are you impressed?
Very. I think it makes sense why he didn't start. I think Skubala said it in a few press conferences now. They've got to share it at times. And when they are both League One established number 9s who were competing for Golden Boot last year, it will be tricky at times when one of them has to sit on the bench and bide their time while the others are, up front on their own. I do quite like them in the same team together from what I've seen against Millwall. Obviously, the result was poor, but I did think at times they really looked compatible. I thought they complemented each other's play styles quite well. But look, he come off the bench. After I thought Tolaj was, especially second half, I thought he played well. I thought every single time the ball sort of got pumped up toward their centre-halves, he was giving them something to think about, even if he wasn't winning the duels. He was being a nuisance, which is all you ask for your number 9. Ballard came on, and obviously he's a little bit different. You can't knock the ball up to him as much. And whatever he tried to do was just obscene, gross.
Have you seen a better goal scored? Have you seen a better goal scored?
No.
No.
I was close to crying. Like, genuinely, I was stood there and I could feel my eyes going. It was something else.
Cheers, Ethan. I'll come back to you in a minute, Liam, because we'll compare and contrast your thoughts this week in a minute. Del, welcome back. Great holiday. Great to see you. How are you all doing? We missed the chat of kind of what you think of the summer last week, but we will catch you up on that at another point. But yeah, just run me through who impressed you in the Midlands yesterday.
To be honest with you, I mean, if you were marking, I think Ethan was there as well. I think if you were marking players out of 10, I think everyone would have got a 7.8 or an 8 out of 10. You know what I mean? All over the pitch. You mean George Canner obviously culpable for the first goal, but again, apart from that, he had a decent game. Players that stood out, I thought the young lad Rio at Cardines, who obviously sat at the Ballard goal. He's got that, he can play on the right and he can play on the left. But when he was playing on the left yesterday, his delivery across his way, coming back in and swinging the ball with his right foot a couple of times, he looked very, very good. He was decent. I thought Jason Knight and Joe Williams as well were good in the middle of the pitch. Twine again, I thought was great. I thought he had real appetite. Work rate of game was great. Took his goal well. And the player, I think, and Ethan alluded to it there just there about trying to maybe playing Ballard and Tolaj in together. I mean, you can either go as a 4-4-2, but then you could be in a little bit of trouble, like we get overrun when Millwall play 3 in the middle. And you want Ballard playing on the shoulder really of the last man really, rather than dropping in the 10. But if you go to a 3 at the back and then play the 2 guys up front, obviously then you're not playing the guy again. I thought was absolutely fantastic. Yeah, Juho Kara yesterday was superb. Absolutely superb on and off the ball, brilliant. Birmingham hooked their right back off at half time, which tells you everything. And then the right back who did come on second half, number 2, I can't remember his name, he got booked as well. But Hirakawa was absolutely fantastic. Could still do a little bit better with his final ball, but across the whole, Rob Dickey again yesterday was so much better. And that lad, he sat, 21 years old, was absolutely superb alongside him. So I mean, right across the board, really, really good. And we should have won. Talking to Birmingham fans coming out yesterday, they said we could have won and should have won 4-5-2. But just those moments in games, and Ethan will probably, again yesterday, we had a 15-20 minute period in the middle of the second half when it was 1-1 before we went 2-1 up, where we had Twine, Greenwood could have scored, Wallace could have scored, Tolaj with the header, and we could have scored 4 or 5. in that period. And we weren't ruthless enough. So that's something the team to improve on. But going forward, so much better and so many positives.
Brilliant. Liam, I watched most of Millwall versus Norwich yesterday, and I've got to say Millwall were just phenomenal. They could have won 4 or 5. So actually our chat last week now, in context, we probably learned a lot more about Millwall than we did about Bristol City. Is it fair to say, looking at the two performances now?
Yeah, I definitely think the as we alluded to it last week, the shape we played yesterday was almost the shape we were playing the whole way through pre-season, and you can see the players were a lot more comfortable in what we were doing yesterday. So on that front, yeah, I guess Millwall do look quite handy. I still think we handed it to them by getting sent off, but that was last week. Yesterday was superb. From what I did get to see it, I was actually watching it on the way to football yesterday. That, like Del said, across the board, everyone put in a real good shift, and for me, it's pleasing to see Hirakawa get some finally be given some credit, because I've been banging his drum since the day he got here, and I think it'd be an absolute nailed-on starter for us, probably majority of the games this season. So it's really good to see him firing on all cylinders and round to go.
Yeah, and we spoke about Scott Twine last week, didn't we? Just staying with you for a second.
Yeah.
We asked you about what if you were Scott Twine's agent, what would you do? Things seem to have spun around since then.
A week's a long time in football, isn't it? You look at what Skubala was saying during the week, that he's chomping at the bit, and they're really happy with him. He's a big part of the plans. I think with Twine yesterday, he had that bit between his teeth. He's obviously, players obviously see the speculation. Of course they do. They're only human like us. They see what's written out there, and I think Twine came out yesterday with a point to prove. And I think he's certainly proved his point that he should be in that starting 11. I know I said last week that I wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't want him to leave. But if he was to leave, I wouldn't have been that bothered. But it does seem like he can be an integral part of this team as well. So it's good to see him playing well, and like Del said, took his goal really well yesterday.
Yeah. Really like Scott Twine. Okay, so just some negatives then, Ethan. Of course we have to. It's what we do on here, isn't it? Not everyone's happy. Robert Collins isn't happy. He said the first goal was poor. I'm still not convinced by Tanner or Dickey. Their only shot on target was a penalty. I thought taking Tolaj off was the wrong decision. The subs didn't work, and we did lose a bit of momentum. What a goal from Dom there. We were the better side, showing it. Hold on. So lots to unpick here. Let's start with the Tanner or Dickey comment, please. Are you convinced by Tanner or Dickey?
To be honest with you, I think they're damned if they do, damned if they don't. I thought they were both fairly good yesterday. But George Tanner could do nothing wrong, and I think it's just the easiest thing to do is pin it on him. Yes, he did get the ball away for their goal. I thought Twine could have done better to stop the cross, which isn't me blaming him, but I thought he could have done more. Again, you can't. I just don't understand how the whole scapegoat thing comes around, and it's a different target every time. I thought they were both good. I thought Rob Dickey was excellent yesterday. Del touched up on it, but I want to go a step further and say he was one of the best players on the pitch for me, winning everything in the air, some really important blocks. It looked like the Rob Dickey of 2 years ago. So for that original point, I can't agree with that. Especially yesterday, I thought they were both top.
What about the Tolaj comment? Del, I mean, we mentioned at the top of the show about him, if he could head a ball. I mean, he had a number of headers that come to him that just, weren't skewed or weren't on target. That will improve, won't it, over time? But what about him?
What, Tolaj?
He needs a goal.
The subs being rude. What about the subs ruining the game?
I think he needs a goal.
Yeah. I mean, I think Ethan would say, I mean, as well, I remember the away game, the last away game of the season where we went to Birmingham, we lost 2-1. The two Birmingham centre backs, literally, they could have had deck chairs out that day. They literally had. But Tolaj yesterday, I thought physicality, like Ethan said, he didn't get bullied. He linked up. There was a couple brilliant bits of play in the second half where he's literally just nipped in between two centre backs, laid it off for Twine and Horvath to run onto. His link up plays great, and once he gets the goal, he'll be flying. You can just tell he's got it there. He's just a little bit. He's probably a little bit anxious. To get that first goal, and I think he lost his little bearings when the one way he's 3 yards out. He should have hit the target. He had one in the first half. I've got no complaints from him yesterday because, I mean, compared to what we had before, is chalk and cheese. And I think once he gets the goal, I think he'll be up and running. But going back to the George Tanner situation, he does get a bit of a scapegoat. I think yesterday what he tried to do, he tried to knock the ball past the guy and go around the other side of him, and he got caught. But I think when Cam Pring comes back, that would be interesting because Cardines might go on the right and Pring might go on the left. So George is going to have to play well to keep his place. But I thought, like Ethan, go back to Ethan, what Ethan said there, Rob Dickie was absolutely superb. And people have got to remember as well, we got a young 21-year-old lad from Romania playing, and Rob Dickie, coached him through that game again. So you need that experience alongside him. And for the lack of pace he's got, I thought yesterday he was absolutely superb. So no, brilliant from Rob Dickie.
Okay. One final comment on yesterday's game, Liam. This fella, please. Decent debut.
Yeah, he looks the real part, doesn't he? You can see why he's so highly regarded at Crystal Palace. And for to be playing on the wrong side, effectively, I know he has played there for Trinidad and Tobago, but to be playing as a right footer on the left-hand side, it can be difficult, but he made it look easy yesterday. It was almost second nature to him. I think, as Dale just said, I think when Pring comes back, I think Tanner's in trouble. I think he might lose his spot to him and be warm on the bench quite a lot this season.
Okay. How's Mr. Tickle doing, Ethan? Just a quick one.
Yeah, look, a lot of people blaming him for the first goal, and to be honest with you, I think he'd do superbly to stop it. All the weight's on his left foot, the ball's going to his right hand side. There's no chance he saves it for me. But I mean, so far so good. I think he's made some really, really big saves. He's got a hell of a kick on him. When I went to that open training session a few weeks ago, I didn't realise actually how built he is. He's not the tallest in the world, but he's absolutely wham. So he's got a bit of power behind him. But yeah, I mean, Radek Vitek's got huge shoes to fill. After he left, it's going to be so hard to replace a player of that stature. But I think Tickle's done more than well enough so far.
You won't follow Borough social media, but Vitek is having a bit of a mare so far at Borough. They aren't entirely enthralled with him. I don't know what's happened to him, but he's gone to shit at the moment. Right, let us know all your thoughts on all the above. There's no cup to worry about, of course, this week, so we're heading straight now to Pompey at the weekend to see what used to be Bullseye Show. To have a look at what you could have won, because John Massinio, of course, was rumoured to be heading to Bristol City. It didn't quite happen, and he stayed with Pompey. But Del, this should be 3 points, shouldn't it?
On paper, but I mean, as you can see when the results over the Championship of the opening 2 games of the season, anything can happen. So we're not taking it for granted. I think if we start like we did yesterday, I think we'll be okay, because I thought the intensity and the tempo from the word go was really good, and I think it's really important because our home record last year was awful. And I think if we start well in the first 20 minutes, play with that tempo and that intensity we had yesterday, where we didn't allow Birmingham to settle, and get the crowd up and with the players, I think hopefully we should cause. I mean, yesterday, the pleasing thing was yesterday, obviously coming away, it was frustrating with that injury time goal, but I thought the amount of chances we created, I haven't seen us create that amount of chances for a long, long time, and be a real threat. And what I liked about us yesterday was when we got the ball, we broke with real speed and power and pace going forward. It was ball to feet. And I think the week before, whatever they worked on with trying to play a long ball to lie against Cooper and Williams at Millwall was a disaster, really. I don't know why we played so many long balls the week before. But I think we get the ball down and play it with that pace and power with you, and really stretch them and get behind them. We'd hopefully get a win. But yeah, it won't be an easy game because they got a good win yesterday at Lincoln, didn't they? So, but it's just maybe getting that first goal, get an early goal, get the crowd on side, and hopefully try and get that first win in the season.
Okay. We'll report on, of course, all that next week. Should we look at some shirts, as we always do at this time of year, and get your views on these 3 beauties? Well, it might not be beauties. We'll get your thoughts. Of course, drop your comments as well below for this one. Now, Liam, there's not much you can do with the Bristol City home shirt in terms of colours and design, but what do you make of this one?
Yeah, just keeping it classic style, isn't it? Don't mess around with it. It's subtle, but it's nice. I don't mind it.
But Ethan's modelling last year's thing, isn't it? There, that's a nice kit, isn't it?
I prefer it without a collar. I'm going to
Do
be
you?
controversial now. Yeah, I do. I prefer it without a collar.
Okay. Ethan, what do you make of the away shirt?
See, now I'm actually not sure, but everyone I seem to speak to, I think they like it. I think it looks better in person than it does on a screen. But I definitely wouldn't spend my money on it personally. I don't know. It's like a bit stuck between being grey and being white. And I think if it was one or the other, I think I could maybe like it a little bit more, but I don't know.
Okay. And Del, the third one?
Yeah, I mean, it looks a bit like Liverpool's kit, didn't it? The black when they wore it, was it last season, the season before? I'm not too keen. I'm a bit of traditionalist. I just like the home shirt. I mean, yesterday I heard from somebody that works at the club who was there, stood with us in the away, and yesterday that they could have worn the red shirt yesterday, and I prefer them wearing the red shirt, but apparently for marketing reasons, that's why they played in the silver. So there you go. But yeah, I mean, I'm not overly keen. I like the old purple line one from a few years ago. I like that one. I think if they brought that one back, I think that would be a winner. But yeah.
I think with the benefit of the grey white one, if we're losing at half time, we can change it and blame it on that we couldn't see each other.
Sorry, Manchester United kit with them 2 years ago.
Yeah, damn it,
Yeah, Southampton. Yeah. Okay. All right then. Now, if our final item this week for you to discuss is if you're in charge of City for 1 week ahead of Tuesday, the 1st of September, what's the one thing now that you would do? So it's play along at home as well. Complete the sentence. If I was in charge of Bristol City between now and next Tuesday morning, the first thing and the only thing I would do is, and I'm going to let these three discuss that. From me, do drop us something I like, and I will catch you in the week after. Let you three take it away.
No, I don't mind. So if it was up to me, if I was in charge for the next week, be a left back. I just don't think we can rely on Cam Pring anymore. We need some more cover there. Obviously, Seb Naylor came in at Christmas, and he doesn't look like he's getting a look in at the moment. So if it was me, it'd be a left back.
Yeah, I'm going to go. I think Cardines I can fill in there. I'm going to go with a left winger. I think we just got that you on the right. I think we can get another direct player with a bit of pace that can get behind teams on the other side. Because I think the Greenwood and Wallace. You played there yesterday, but I just think maybe someone with a little bit of pace on the left, who could play on the left or the right, but someone direct who can stretch teams with some pace. I think, so a left winger for me.
I mean, it's quite refreshing to not have to say striker because we've got two world beaters in the team now. It all depends on Jason Knight. If Jason Knight stays, then I have to agree with Dale, and I want a Reyes Kelly type profile. If Jason Knight goes, it's another centre midfielder, maybe Cameron Brannigan from Oxford. Off the top of my head, something like that. But it all depends on the skipper.
Yeah.
Happy days.
Perfect.
Perfect.
See you later, everyone.
See you next week, guys.
Cheers, guys. Have a great week.
Bye-bye.
Nice to see you again, guys.
Yeah.